Hello and welcome to the program. The lifting of the ban on cryptocurrency trade by the federal government has been met with positive reviews in Nigeria. Recall that in February 2021, the CBN had issued a circular restricting banks and other financial institutions from operating accounts for cryptocurrency service providers. The former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, had announced that the restriction was necessary in view of the money laundering and terrorism financing risk posed by cryptocurrency. Emefiele also said the vulnerability inherent in cryptocurrency operations, as well as the absence of regulation and consumer protection measures, were also responsible for the policy. Announcing the ban's removal, the CBN's bank's director in charge of financial policy and regulation, Haruna Mustafa, says the Apex Bank will now provide regulations for financial institutions on how to manage cryptocurrency to avoid misuse. Now, the CBN's new governor, Olayemi Cardoso, has lifted the ban but warns that banks and other financial institutions were still prohibited from holding, trading, or transacting in cryptocurrencies on their own account. Well, let's discuss this further. Cryptocurrency trader Success Ogona joins me on the program. Thank you for joining me, first of all. Now, as a cryptocurrency trader, what do you make of the lifting of the ban on crypto transactions in Nigeria by the CBN and the conditions attached to it?
Oh, I would say it's one of the biggest developments to have happened to our nation because, like I always say, the crypto industry is a revolution, right? It's actually a revolution. When I say revolution, I mean it's a movement. It's not something, it can't stop a movement, right? No government, no power has the capacity in itself to contain a movement. So the best thing you can do is to see how to be a part of the movement. And I really appreciate the federal government, the CBN in quote, for making this move because I feel this is going to open more opportunities for Nigerians and for all the masses inclusively, right? It's a welcome development from my end. It's a welcome development.
A New York-based blockchain research firm, Chainalysis, reveals that Nigeria's volume of crypto transactions grew by 9% year-on-year to $56.7 billion between July 2022 and June 2023, confirming that the ban was not such a barrier. But tell us of your experience. Was it difficult for you to trade during the period of the ban?
It this is here. It was not difficult trading or doing any activity during that period. The only difficulty was for newbies, people who didn't really understand the dynamics around the market, who were trying to come in at the time. So a lot of them were making mistakes, especially during their transactions, including maybe when they are making a payment, a bank payment, they're making the mistake of including maybe crypto payment or to notify the receiver that okay, this payment is crypto based, and that gives the banks or the bank's network that notification that this was a crypto transaction. So those are the kind of persons who got if affected by the ban. For the crypto system is decentralized, so it is smart enough to bypass policies. It is smart enough to bypass some of these conditions that the government thought we are using to restrain or restrict the people from participating. Right? It's not like I say, it's a revolution. So you don't stop a revolution. You can't ban. You can't. You can't just. You can't quiet it. The best you can do, like I said again, the best thing to do is what they've done already, which is to lift the ban and see how they can also benefit from the system.
Well, generally, what impact do you think the lifting of the ban will have? What impact do you think it will have on crypto operations in Nigeria?
All right, the impact it's this, right? Like I said before, it's actually a welcome development, and also it's one thing that would help build trust on the system. Now, Nigerians can trust that they can confidently participate in the in all the massive opportunities that the crypto that being in the crypto space provides, right? It's also gives this pedigree. Like some of us who are already players in the space, it gives us that pedigree and that confidence to be able to really do what we do. Because prior to now, right, the ban actually gave the some of these law enforcement agents a level of, that use the word, a level of power, especially when they check your phones and they see that you have a crypto app like Binance or you have Mezek on your phone. They try to harass you, look, treat you as though you are some Yahoo boy because you have a crypto app on your phone. So I feel this development would have to ensures our safety, and also gives our work, our business a level of respect and pedigree.
CBN now says there will be regulations of cryptocurrency operations in Nigeria going forward. What kind of regulations do you think would be appropriate to ensure safety for everyone transacting in crypto?
Okay, there are a lot of things to consider, right, in the crypto space, right? So to say, with the lifting of the ban, there'll be a lot of fintechs coming up as exchanges, crypto exchanges, right? So, and this in a way would also give a rise to a lot of scam uh, 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 fintechs who just come, make people invest their money before you know they shut down and run away with people's money. We've seen this happen with a very popular exchange, with a very popular fintech. I won't want to call names here, right? But I've seen that happen with them. They claim that they become bankrupt, and people's money just like that got wiped out, right? So I feel there should be a level of regulation to ascertain and also benchmark what are called liquidity lock, to be able to hedge their operations, the operations of these, to hedge and also check the operations of some of these fintechs who will be coming up as exchanges, because a lot of these a lot of Nigerians are still very new, I'm also very much oblivious to the to playing in the crypto space, right? To play in the crypto space. So for their safety, right? For their safety, in as much as the crypto space offers very grand opportunities and all, for their safety, there should be I feel there should be policies in place to put some of these fintechs that will be coming up as crypto exchanges and all. There should be policies to put them in check. There should be policies to put them in check to ensure the safety of people's money.
Now, cryptocurrencies have helped to reduce the cost and speed of cross-border remittances in most countries where they are legal. However, will the removal of the restriction have any influence on Nigeria's economy?
I would say a big yes to that. I would say a big yes. I would say a big yes to that, because uh, definitely the government will, in a way, some of these fintechs are to be coming up, will definitely be paying tax to the government, right? They'll be definitely paying tax to government, and also with the level of unemployment in the country and the fact that a lot of big companies are shutting down due to the economic comatose we are experiencing in the country right now. I think this will give the average Nigerian the opportunity to be able to make money, right? It's an opportunity for them to, it's a business, becomes a business for them to be able to participate and trade and make money. Talking about the blockchain itself, right? I think we don't really stress on the importance and the impact it has on our economy well enough, right? So when we talk about blockchain is like a ledger. When we think about a blockchain is like it's a ledger. It's more like a ledger that that helps you to document transactions, record data, so that these data cannot be altered. So data recorded on these blockchains cannot be altered. So let me just give a little breakdown. Let's say you buy a land, right? Some of these properties we buy, they get registered with government parastatals. There are government bodies that document that you are you are actually the owner of this land, associate location, and all that. And some of these documents are done just on papers, recorded on papers, and kept. So let's say, God forbid, there's a fire accident, right? There's a fire accident. This document will be lost forever. We've seen situations where government requests for forms from where the federal government requests for documents from some of their bodies, and they give excuses of fire accidents and all. But if these records were done on the blockchain system, incidents like all those stories like that, snakes swallowed 30 billion, all that excuses would never be found.
All success, Ogona, cryptocurrency trader. Thank you very much for your time. We'll take a break here. The program will continue shortly. Welcome back. Nigeria's Africa Stablecoin Consortium plans to introduce a compliant Nigerian Naira stablecoin (CNGN) stablecoin in 2024. The collaboration includes Nigerian financial institutions, fintech companies, and blockchain experts. The CNGN stablecoin is now being promoted as a replacement for Naira, which has failed to take off despite receiving billions of dollars in funding from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) under former Governor Godwin Emefiele, and is now expected to benefit the country's economy. According to reports, the CNGN will allow users to transact anywhere in the world, while its users can also buy and sell commodities using the official Central Bank of Nigeria rate. The coin will have similar use targets like the Naira, which was touted to boost remittance inflow, facilitate border trade, and increase financial inclusion. The announcement also mentions that CNGN is similar to other stable coins and will be included to the list of currencies that may be traded anywhere in the world. The launch is coming after the lifting of the suspension of a 2-year prohibition on cryptocurrency trading using official channels by the Apex Bank. Well, let's discuss this further. I'm now being joined by Kayode Adebayo, a digital economy expert. Thank you for your time, Mr. Adebayo. First of all, what are your thoughts on the Nigerian Naira stablecoin as a replacement for the Naira?
Well, I think for me, I think the initial issue the Naira had was not in the creation or in whatever the purpose was. I think it was more around the trust issues. Naira was released around the time when, the national situation happened where there was a ban on crypto activities. And Naira just got released just a few weeks after that. So somehow, when you look at matters around, the crypto market and, the innovation behind it, basically, it's more about trust. All of us agree that this works, and this is a means of being able to move money back and forth. So if there is a situation around that where one of the principals, is in a bit of a default or defect in trust, then somehow I think that's why the Naira didn't work, as good and fantastic as it was. And I think now these people coming with this, also the consortium that is putting it together, because there are a lot of private sector involvement in it, I think to quite an extent, it will bring back the necessary trust that people have for that particular innovation as a means of exchange, basically. So I see it being able to be more successful than the Naira. That's my own personal opinion, basically.
Now, the stablecoin will be an official cryptocurrency and not a digital currency like the Central Bank of Nigeria currency, that's the CBDC. Now, that's the Naira. Now, do you think this will be an advantage?
Yes, I think it will be. And I think the fact that it's pegged 1-to-1 against the Naira too can be good. Because, as I said, anything that has to do with government as the main principle, people in the business space generally are a little bit wary on how they want to get involved in that. But when they start to see that to a large extent, it is trusted players, basically, trusted private sector people that understand what that particular innovation is about and understand the financial implications, understand the economic implications, trust will be established. And I think that when that trust is in there, more people, there will be a lot of buying, and we expect that a lot of users will be onboarded for that purpose.
So while others believe the stablecoin will be an improvement on the Naira because commercial banks co-created it rather than the CBN, as is the case of the CBDC. Now, however, critics say the currency will follow the same pathway as the Naira due to the dwindling financial capacity of Nigerians. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, yes, it is possible. I think the highest level of success, I believe, that the stable coin will be able to do will be if the managers of that particular innovation are able to quickly onboard diasporans, basically, and get diasporans to see it as a trusted means of being able to kind of move money back and forth from where they are in the Western countries into the Nigerian economy. We all know to a large extent that one of the highest foreign exchange, aside from our crude oil, is still remissions, basically. So if most of the remissions can be moved away from the typical bank movements and all, and then eventually landed on this particular innovation, or I won't say fintech, yes, innovation, and be used more predominantly as a means of being able to move the monies between Nigerians back and forth, the tendency for it to be very successful is high, because it's sizable what is being moved from the international space into Nigeria from that remissions. I know it took a little bit of beating around the COVID time, and with the new economic reforms that this government is trying to do. But by the time things start to stabilize a little bit, for example, we are starting to see a possibility of with the new advents and the new policies that are being made for local capacity to be built in order to deliver value, especially from the petroleum sector. I see a situation where the tendency for it to be able to be successful is high. But as I said, the critical success factor will be to see how most of the remissions that are coming from the international space into Nigeria can be onboarded on that particular stablecoin.
So far, how would you rate digital asset transactions in Nigeria overall?
I think Nigeria from a peer-to-peer approach, when you look at it from peer-to-peer, Nigeria is one of the biggest players in that space, especially for Bitcoin. We know when you look at, I don't think there's anywhere they are discussing Bitcoin globally where Nigeria is not discussed as one of the main players in that space. So I think somehow we had a lot of early adopters from the Nigerian space, and because of that, it's giving us a lot of value, in that particular area, of financials, basically the financial space. We are good somehow in understanding. We're early adopters to technology. We're able to quickly adapt to new technology and able to play around it and able to even, become top experts in those things. So that is a lot of credit to us here. Looking at the global indices now, Bitcoin and crypto currencies and the the deals that enable them. Some adjustments happened recently in the US where some of those things were signed to law, and those things are looking quite positive for the crypto. So they might start to enter into a bullish season very soon. For example, Bitcoin has moved quite a lot of good units, and people are happy about that. So I believe so strongly that it's something that has come to stay in Nigeria. I think a lot of more innovations will be built around it also. By the time beyond peer-to-peer, we can start to see maybe some form of B2B players around it also. And I think that would do very well for us as individual transactional people, and then for business-to-business situations within the economy. So economy tends to be able to benefit from it a lot.
Finally, let me know your thoughts on the removal of the ban on crypto trading in Nigeria by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
I think it was a bad idea from the beginning, to just do that ban, because things like that, to a large extent, you really want very little government intervention in either banning or either trying. I understand the fact that it needs to be regulated, but there are ways to be able to regulate things without necessarily just hitting a ban on stuff. What that does is that it causes a lot of upset in the market, and you start to see a lot of people wanting to when your economy loses leverage in such a situation, you start to see that things become more expensive in how it plays out, especially for the value that is supposed to come to this side of that whole transaction. Now that it has been lifted, I see that, and eventually when you get more players into it beyond the peer-to-peer situation, there's a lot of value chain. The value chain will start to get longer. More people will want to participate in it at the different layers of that whole process. And I see that to a large extent, it will become something. Of course, more innovations will come in, it will deliver more employment. Volume of transactions will increase, because now those transactions will come back mainstream. And also, being taxed. If taxing it is not on if it's minimal, if it's just to allow the transaction flow for the government to kind of have a small bit of that whole transaction flow, is fine. But when it starts to get too, parasitic, where maybe because of how much of volume is in that space, people that don't understand it want to start to layer taxes on it, and eventually it gets more uninteresting for the players. Believe you me, money never sleeps. It will find its way into somewhere where you might not be able to extend your hand, basically. So I see it being a very good and welcome idea that has been lifted. I see a lot of economic value being built around it, not only even on the short run alone, even on the long run. I see Bitcoin has come to stay, for example, out of the crypto. I think some of those other crypto assets too have come to stay, the big ones. But even the smaller ones, you start to see that a lot more transactions are being built around it. A lot of contracts, a lot of deals are being built around it, which makes it very useful. And it can be a very strong wealth creating, wealth creating opportunity, especially from the younger generation, that old economy has been able to elude them. For example, not everybody will buy land. Not everybody will probably be able to dig gold or diamonds or whatever, but this can become that thing where the younger generations can use to financially and economically empower themselves, not in the middle term and on the long run. So it's a welcome idea.
Well, Coyote Adebayo, digital economy expert, thank you for lending your thoughts. And that's it on this episode of the program. See you again next time. Bye for now.